All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you find yourself in the world. My name is Sophia Arend, and I am the Global Blockchain Business Council's Senior Analyst. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Global Blockchain Business Council's Virtual Members Forum. This is a bi-weekly webinar series showcasing the innovative work of our members around the world. And today we have the pleasure to be joined by Fernando Carvalho, CEO and founder of QR Capital and GBBC Regional Ambassador to Brazil, for a presentation and live Q&A on the state of the digital asset ecosystem in Brazil and the launch of QR Capital's newest offering, the Brazilian Legal Receivables and Precatory Bonds Exchange, also known as BBPR. Before I hand things over to Fernando, I would like to briefly introduce him. Fernando has 18 years of experience in multinationals and senior leadership positions, and he is currently the founder and CEO of QR Capital. This is a regulatory investment firm focused exclusively on crypto assets and blockchain ventures in Brazil. Fernando also presides over Tezos Brazil, which is the local arm of the Tezos Foundation, working to develop protocols for the community and use cases in the Brazilian market. He is also a member of the Financial Innovation Laboratory, which is a multi-sector forum of the Brazilian Development Association, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the Securities Commission. They work to discuss and explore innovative solutions in Brazilian financial and capital markets. We are so pleased to have Fernando here with us today, and we encourage your questions at any point during today's webinar. You can submit them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we'll take them after his presentation. Without further ado, I'd like to hand things off to Fernando. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining. We have a presentation here to share the content. I'm going to share the screen so we have the chance to discuss. The idea here, we have a couple of slides, 10 slides. And the idea is basically presenting this new project from our company in the digital space. But before that, we're going to talk a little bit about the digital assets in Brazil, how the ecosystem is growing. I give a brief intro about QR Capital as well, the company, and then we jump in the Precatory Bonds and Legal Receivables exchange project. So talking about digital assets in Brazil, we have two strong pillars that are being developing. It's a very, very new ecosystem here in Brazil. So when we talk about regulation and adoption, there have been many news and many things that happened in the past 2 years that is building the base for this future market here in Brazil. I would say that Brazil is some steps behind some countries abroad, especially US, although regulators are really connected to the trends that are happening globally. And we really expect that the market develops deeply in the next few years. We had an important kickoff in the digital assets market in Brazil was 2017. Until this time, we did not have much adoption of cryptocurrencies, neither blockchain in the country. In 2017, we had over 1.4 million individual investors signing up to crypto assets exchange in Brazil. So that was a move that really made regulators look a lot to the asset class and try to understand deeply how that would impact the future of the market. From this time on, we had a few regulations coming out. The first one was in September 2018, in which the Securities Commission has oriented the market about crypto asset investment funds. According to the current regulation, they did not change the fund administration or the fund management regulation, but they did an orientation for the market related specifically to crypto assets investments. That was the time where we decided here in QR Capital to start a business in this sector. I'm gonna introduce that later in the next slide. In May 2019, we had a strong, important milestone in the adoption side. Brazil's biggest investment bank, BTG Pactual, they launched a security token backed by real estate investments in Latin America, including Brazil. Although due to regulation, the offer was closed to Brazilian investors, it was only open to international investors. But that was an important milestone in which the first time a regulated player in the country has launched an initiative in digital assets. In July 2019, the Department of Treasury has integrated crypto asset exchanges in the tax monitoring system. So that was a specific regulation related to how crypto asset exchange and investors should pay their taxes and should declare their ownership of crypto assets in Brazil. That was a breakthrough move because until this time, the Treasury Department had very few visibility about the crypto asset transactions. So that was a very important step in formalizing this asset class in the country. In July 2019, there was a relevant player in the ecosystem called Mercado Bitcoin. Mercado Bitcoin is a crypto exchange in Brazil. They basically had the regular utility token exchange services in Brazil and they decided to launch a digital asset platform. That's a very incumbent platform, very new, very small, although they have been bringing lots of innovation since then. Although they are a retail platform, they've been doing an interesting job in selling in digital formats some alternative assets. There are non-security assets. In 2019, August 2019, the central bank officially declared that crypto assets could be recognized in companies and individual companies' balance sheets. That was an important milestone as well. That was the first time the central bank had made a statement, a formal statement about crypto assets. The previous statement was basically saying that crypto assets were not a formal way to do international money exchange transactions. So that this was a positive statement because basically companies understood that they could have formally crypto assets in their balance sheets. So that was a step, an important step to formalize the asset class as well. In K1 2020, we see in the adoption side important development on funds that are specialized in crypto assets. So we are one of the relevant players, we're the biggest player in this space right now. And basically we see that those kind of funds are being broadly distributed by broker dealers. So what we see is that the asset class as an investment class moves from a regulated crypto exchange to regulated hedge funds. So that's a very important move. That's a step in which the formal market has been presenting the asset class to some of their customers. Although it's very alternative, very small in this moment, we see that it's a first move to enhance the adoption of crypto assets in our country. So that's a very, very good news on this side. And there's important and recent regulation that we see happening in 2020, which is the Securities Commission publishing a new regulation, a new norm. It's 626, the number. They are launching a regulatory sandbox in Brazil. So this regulatory sandbox in Brazil will allow that new technologies, including blockchain, are tested in a compliant environment. So this will open a very important opportunity for testing new business models that use blockchain and digital assets. And this is a very, very recent regulation. The first exemptions were not given by the regulator yet, but we expect that in the upcoming 12 months, we're going to have lots of new projects happening in Brazil due to this new opportunity in the sandbox. So quickly introducing QR Capital. Our mission is to shape a better financial system in Brazil, bridging the gap between the traditional and the crypto economy. So basically, we've been working on regulated space. So we've been doing the homework related to all the regulation, all the rules that we are subjected here in the country. And we've been doing a bridge between the two worlds. So the first part of the tech, the early adopters, and the unregulated world is moving to a regulated format, and we see that this will bring new business opportunities here in the country. So we are a specialized venture builder. We invest only in the blockchain digital assets ecosystem in Brazil. We have a few operating ventures. The main venture is the QR asset management. So we have a regulated asset manager, as I mentioned. So right now we've been managing the two funds. One of them is the biggest crypto hedge fund in Brazil. So the asset class is quite small, but we are very well positioned with over 45% share in this crypto assets management space. So we are expecting very strong growth this year. The number of people investing in regulated funds in crypto has grown 25 times versus 2019, and we're really expecting exponential growth in the upcoming years. So we are very glad about how the asset class is evolving in the regulated space. We also have important content portals called Blocktrends. Blocktrends is basically a content and a platform. We have a website, a newsletter. We have also an important event that happens yearly. Next edition will happen on September 2020, in a few weeks. We're going to have the chance to talk about this with the GBBC base. So we're going to share the invitations for this event that will happen. It's very focused on Brazil, of course, but this year, as we're doing in an online format, we'll have the chance to have more international speakers. So this will be an interesting way to update about local regulation and local projects in the digital asset space. So I invite everyone that have the chance to participate. It's a free event that will happen on September 29. We also have a stake of Foxbit. Foxbit is the third biggest crypto exchange in Brazil. It was a move that we did 2 years ago, understanding that it was a very important acceleration to introduce QR Capital in the ecosystem. So we've been participating in Foxbit for the last 18 months. Yeah, they are really evolving on the way to bring crypto assets to the general public. So they're one of the major exchanges in Brazil. We are also launching new ventures. The first one is Rehispar. So those are technology business. Rehispar is a lending service that will be launched on the end of this month, so the end of August. Rehispar is basically offering Brazilian reais lending operations with regulated vehicles. So we will have a fund in the assets that will provide Brazilian reais for people willing to have lending Brazilian reais with crypto assets as a guarantee in the operation. So this business will be launched on the end of this month as well. And also BBPR, which is the topic of the meeting today. We're gonna talk a little bit deeper about this project. It's an important project that we are investing in the past months, and we are launching shortly. It's a precatory bonds and legal receivables exchange. So this is a non-security asset exchange that has built the technological capacity that we do the move to the regulated and security token space whenever the regulation let us do this move. So I'm gonna talk a little bit in detail about BBPR. It's in Portuguese here, but basically Bolsa Brasileira de Precatórios e Recebíveis stands for Brazil Precatory Bonds and Legal Receivables Exchange. It's a joint venture between QR Capital and a strategic partner, is Gouveia. They have 3 years of experience in the precatory bond market, over 90% of success in previous claims. Their founder, main partner is Eduardo Gouveia, who is the chairman for the National Precatory Bond Commission in Brazil's Association of Attorneys. So he's very connected to the development of this ecosystem and the legal side. And also their office have $1.3 billion in assets under management. So basically they have legal claims from customers that stand for a very, very big amount of money. So that's a very interesting asset class here. That's basically dominated by specialized funds, family offices, and also high net worth individuals that have the sophistication to invest in this asset class. So what we are solving with BBPR, basically we are moving the market from an analog market to a digital market. So the market right now is very known in the outside of any technological platform between creditors and investors. So there's no organized marketplace for this asset class currently in Brazil. That's why we found that it was a very interesting opportunity. First, because it's a non-security asset, so it's not subjected to the local regulation, but also because we have opportunity in the market itself. So there's some problems that needed to be solved in this market. So talking about origination, basically the investors needed to search their assets, looking for millions of legal claims in the legal system. So there was no organized marketplace. That's basically what we see as a big opportunity for BBPR here in Brazil. Also, in the selection of the assets, the buyer had lots of responsibility. So he needed to do himself the selection, the due diligence, the legal evaluation of the assets. And the platform will assume this responsibility. We will offer in the platform and list in the platform pre-selected assets that have all the complete legal documentation. And also we have built a rating methodology that the platform will offer to investors to guarantee that they have fewer workload in evaluating one new asset that they're willing to invest. Also, the settlement and scripturation, basically the platform will do, using blockchain, of course, we do all the settlement of the operation. So basically we're gonna link the payments to the creditors, and the investors will be able also to have the control over their assets. In the legal side and the technical side, they will have the chance to know the parts of the assets that they own. Many times legal receivables are sold by one creditor to more than one investor. So this is one of the biggest challenges that the government has when they will pay for the assets, to know who is the actual owner of the right. So the platform will do that in a digital way. Secondary markets, there's no liquidity because you don't have any kind of organized market. So we're bringing this feature to the platform shortly. So we organized market for this asset class, and also the pricing. So right now the pricing is the responsibility of the buyer and the seller of the legal right. And we have a book building method. So basically different buyers will have the chance to offer different prices, and the sellers will have the chance to choose who to sell to in a book building method. So as I mentioned, basically the focus of the platform is creating a new organized market here in Brazil. The Precatory bonds market stands for 107 billion reais. It's a big market. We're talking about something around 25 billion US dollars, and the legal receivables is estimated to be 20 times bigger than this market. So it's really a new market that will be organized, and we're using blockchain to facilitate this process. We are doing the token issuing using Tesla's blockchain. We are creating the tokens and in individual smart contracts, one for each asset. So trying to explain visually what is a Precatory token. At the end of the day, it's a mix of variable income, fixed income, and crypto assets. Basically, we have variable income because the way that Precatory bonds are purchased is paying part of the asset face value. So you don't have the certain date of payments. So you have a yield that's bought in the time, so it's a variable income. It's fixed income because they have, by legal concept, they have yearly yield that is paid by the government over those credit rights, and also crypto assets due to the use of blockchain in the emission process. So the service of the platform, basically origination, asset qualification, and transaction logs. So basically we bring a full solution from the creditor to the final investors. The project will be launched on September this year, focused on specialized investors in the first moment. So we're talking about an average ticket of $250,000. Basically, the focus will be specialized funds, family offices, and high net worth individuals. We're expecting the platform to reach something around 500 customers by the end of this year. So it's not a retail platform. We'll do a move in 2021. Whenever we come the new functionality, we bring the new functionality of the match engine and secondary market. We're gonna do a qualified retail step. So we're gonna open the platform for less sophisticated investors. This is a short, briefly explanation. This is the last slide. So this is basically how the process will happen, from the analysis of the asset, approval to be listed, all the agreements that need to be done with the creditor and registered in the legal process. And we'll have a rating methodology. We have developed an own methodology for rating the assets. We're gonna issue the token using Tesla's blockchain, and the platform will, after that, the investor will be able to buy the legal receivable or the Precatory bonds direct in the platform. We'll do all the settlements in the fiduciary money side as well. So we are gonna do all the bank transfers necessary to receive investors from investment from investors, and paying the creditor whenever the trade happens. All right. Okay, so yeah, I think I talked a lot. basically, the project we're launching shortly into our capital. So we're gonna leave those last 20 minutes to let you bring questions, and feel free to ask anything you wish about the business itself and about the Brazilian market. Sophia.
Excellent. Thank you, Fernando. Yes, we've had a few questions come in, and if anyone else has questions, please send them in and we'll go through the list as they come in. So just to begin, we have two questions that ask, what is the view on crypto assets in Brazil? And then, does the general population in Brazil understand blockchain technology and crypto assets?
Yeah, my opinion is that many individual investors have invested in crypto assets due to the price increase that happened in 2017 without knowing anything about the technology or the asset class. So my opinion is that the level of knowledge of the general population is still very low. And there's an educational process that will need to happen until it's a mainstream asset class. My opinion is that this process has started very recently, and it will take a couple of years for that to happen. Sophia, sorry, I can't hear you. It looks like you're muted.
Thank you. And just to follow up on that question, is that something companies like QR Capital and other companies in the ecosystem are working to do, these educational efforts to bring it maybe even to not only to the market you're focused on with institutional investors, but also retail investors?
Yeah, there are many initiatives in the space, talking about events, content portals, training organizations. I would mention Blockchain Academy as one of the important players in this area. They've been doing lots of effort in bringing quality information to the general public. But what I see here is that this process will take a little bit long, because it's not something trivial, something with some technical aspects. And at the end of the day, in my opinion, the killer apps will be the ones that maybe the general public don't know that you have crypto assets or blockchain backing them up. So I think the technical part will be left to the technical people, and the general population will have a basic understanding. As an investment class, I think there are many people looking for information and trying to find quality information about this area, because there's many people still looking at the asset class as an investment opportunity.
Absolutely, thank you. We had someone ask, how is it working with BTG Pactual?
Yeah, so BTG launched a project in 2019, as I mentioned. They have a digital assets area in the bank, so they've been looking at this space with very close attention. Basically, what they did was issuing a security token that was closed for US and Brazilian investors due to regulations. But this fund, it's a fund that invests in distressed assets in the real estate area in Latin America. So basically, you can see more information in the website. It's ratebz.io. But they did a terrific job in trying to know how that works and how the emission of a new digital asset works. So it was an important learning for the bank, and they did a terrific job.
Absolutely. We have a question here just about the BBPR. The first question is, what kind of precatory bond are you guys looking to sell, state, city, or federal?
The three of them. In the first moment, we have more focus on state. although it will be open for any kind of precatory bonds, whether it's city, state, or federal. Federal bonds are a little bit different because they have a very strong demand, so you don't have much offer in the market for this kind of asset, but you have lots of demand. So the platform will be open for anyone willing to sell the three kinds.
Excellent. Someone also asked, which platform are you using to generate the tokens?
The Tezos.
And with that, could you walk us through kind of QR Capital's decision to use Tezos and the Tezos ecosystem in Brazil more broadly, since that's something that you have worked on and developed yourself?
Yeah, we selected Tezos basically for two reasons. First one, we wanted to use a public blockchain to all the features, security features that you have when you have a real public decentralized blockchain. The second reason was the support we had from Tezos in the process. So basically the protocol has supported the project very strongly in the technical side specifically. So we had a very good support from the protocol, and that was a very important decision, and that was something that helped the project to help with high quality, and we were very, very well supported in this case.
Excellent. Just moving through the questions here. Someone asked, how have these projects been affected by the new crypto tax regulations in Brazil, or have they been affected?
Can you please repeat the question?
Certainly. Somebody asked about how, if any, of QR Capital's projects been affected by the new crypto tax regulations in Brazil?
The tax regulation, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the tax regulation has put a rule on how the gain of capital in crypto investments would happen, and also how the exchanges and the individual investors should report their operations to the tax authorities, right? At the end of the day, in this case, BBPR, I'm talking about BBPR, crypto blockchain is used as basically a settlement technology. So the tax rules are the same as the physical asset. So you have the capital gains and how that is paid for the tax authorities. In this case, does not depend on the technology, but depends on the asset class that's being sold in the platform.
Thank you. There was a follow-up question about the state and city precatories. They asked first off about the risk and also about the timeline for them to be paid. If you could shed some light on this.
Yeah, basically that's why we decided to build a platform for specialized investors, because they are already very aware of the risk of this asset class, and they are very aware that there's not a fixed income, it's a variable income investment, right? But basically what we see from the risk side is that the platform helps the market, because at the end of the day, you give a pre-validated asset to the investors. You do a previous due diligence, so you have a legal opinion basing the investment solution. So in this case, in my opinion, is that the platform is a very good way to mitigate risks, right, to investors. The asset class is a high risk, high return asset class, because basically people have the right to receive a payment from the government, but they don't have the actual date of the payments. So that's where the risk comes from, and that's why investors pay a small fraction of the real asset value. So basically, what I see here is that the platform is being built for specialized investors. They are very, very aware of the risks. and also it helps how to qualify the asset that will be sold.
That makes sense. Just going through the questions here, a little bit of a pivot, and perhaps this is something you can provide some insights into. Somebody asked about the governor of the Central Bank of Brazil asked recently for advice to create a central bank digital currency. Any time frame that you know of?
Yeah, this is a recent discussion actually that happened. The government has, the president of the Brazilian Central Bank has announced that they are working on understanding this possible technology for monetary fiat money emission. It has brought a lot of attention to this theme here in Brazil. My opinion is that we cannot predict the time frame because it's a movement that's not local, it's global. So many people are trying to help the bank in the tech side to offer solutions. But also the international CBDCs are also evolving. So we don't know what will be the choice of the bank, neither the time frame, but I think it will be very coordinated with central banks of other relevant economies.
Good. Just maybe one or two last questions to finish. QR Capital received authorization from CVM, the Brazilian Securities and Exchange Commission. Can you give us some insights into this process and establishing a relationship with the regulator in Brazil?
Yeah, we have the license from the regulator in the asset management business. So we are a regulated asset manager. We passed it through a very long process to get this authorization. So it's a very strong due diligence process that regulators do over asset managers here in Brazil. It was almost a year, the timing that we had until we got the license. That happened in December 2019, the conclusion of the process. So yeah, we've been very close to the regulators, trying to bring a bit of our knowledge of the technology, and also we've been doing everything connected to the local laws and local regulators, trying to build solutions that are sustainable long term.
Absolutely, thank you. In terms of the BBPR, you might have mentioned this, but when will the new exchange be launched, and where can someone find more information on it?
Yeah, the launch date will be September 2020. So shortly we're gonna put the platform live for investors. So yeah, there will be many information about the platform in the website itself. But also we're gonna talk a lot about this project in Block Trends 2020 that will happen on September 29. So we have the chance to see more details how the platform works in a few weeks.
Excellent. We will circulate a recording of this video for anyone that would like to share it with their colleagues and learn more, as well as links to QR Capital's website so you can follow the upcoming launch in September, and a link to Block Trends, which the GBBC is honored to be participating in as well. Fernando, before we close out, any last words, any final thoughts that you'd like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, basically two comments. The first one is thanks a lot to GBBC for the opportunity to present. It's a very interesting initiative. So I've been watching the webinars frequently. So congratulations for the initiative, and a very good space for learning and discussing with good participants. So thank you very much, GBBC and all the participants. The second comment is about QR Capital. So basically, I see in the participants many international people. So we are really open to receive any kind of contact about the local ecosystems. We really like to be a player that builds together. So we've been doing that for the past 2 years here, and basically offer QR Capital as a good entry door in Brazilian blockchain market for players willing to do so. So thanks a lot, Sophia. Thanks a lot for all participants. It was really a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you so much, Fernando. And these webinars are made possible by members like you that are doing the great work on the ground to, continue to launch new products and move the industry forward, particularly in this case, the digital asset industry in Brazil, which is growing quickly. So thank you so much. We will make a recording of this video available online. We have a library of these videos. These are bi-weekly webinars, and the next one we will be hosting is also with a Brazilian-based company, Storm. They launched a crowdfunding platform called Viral Cure, which raised over $5 million for Hospital das Clínicas. So that will be a very interesting webinar next week on a different topic. So thank you so much, Fernando. We will circulate a link to this webinar, to QR Capital, and to the Block Trends event with everyone who registered so that you can all continue to follow along with their work.
Thanks
so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.